the surprising details behind a $2,000 fourth stimulus check specifically focused on the low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries of Social Security retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal, SSI, VA, and RRB, as well as how much. I have all the details for you here in the video and what you need to be aware of. Let's get right into it. I know this year so far, 2025, I think we can all probably agree, has been a very, very interesting year, and I can tell you this much, a whole lot more to come. It's only going to get more interesting as we move forward. Well, one of the major factors behind that is what we've talked about so many times here on the channel in videos and in live streams, which is DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, and their goal is to scrape together as much federal dollars as they possibly can by canceling federal agencies, laying off federal workers, canceling federal contracts, and the list goes on, and they're scraping together billions and billions and billions of dollars so far, and they've only been to work for like 6 weeks so far. It hasn't been all that long that they've been doing all this. Well, that brings a lot of us up to wonder, what's going to happen with all this money? Now, here's the thing as well. A couple weeks ago, we did get that introduction of the $5,000 DOGE dividend, right? I covered that extensively in all the videos. We talked about it in live streams, and that would be one really good use of the money. However, there are some flaws with that plan, which I've shared with you in other videos and in live streams. However, when it comes down to a $2,000 fourth stimulus check, I want to point out a couple different things, because remember the whole objective behind DOGE, to scrape together $2 trillion basically from January of this year, 2025, out until July next year of 2026. During about a year and a half time frame, they want to scrape together $2 trillion of savings of federal dollars, okay? So I'll keep that number in mind here as we move forward and talk through the details behind this, and I'll share with you exactly what that means. However, super fast here, you see that phone number hanging out on your screen? That is your exclusive phone number to be connected with a dedicated Medicare team with all of your Medicare needs, including but not limited to Medicare supplements, Medigap plans, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Part D, initial enrollment into Medicare, whether to take traditional Medicare or Medicare Advantage. These guys know it all. They're absolute experts. And here's the best thing. It's 100% free. They're working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you here in the community that have already connected with them through that exclusive phone number on the screen right there. And again, what they will do is look through all the thousands and thousands of plans across the country. They will isolate it down into plans in your local area to find you the best plan at the best price for the best coverages for your personal needs and everything you're looking for, including but not limited to the providers or the prescribers that you want to see, as in the doctors, the networks you want to be in, the clinics or the offices that you want to go to, your prescription needs, if you have any at all, any dental coverages that you need or want at all, as well as any other personal preferences you may have. They're looking through all of that and, again, finding you the best plan, best price, best coverages, and presenting that to you 100% for free. Does that sound pretty fair? I think so, right? And again, you got that exclusive phone number right there. They're waiting to talk to you right now. If you've not done so yet, give them a call. Seriously, they will help you through this in any way they possibly can. It's a tough situation. Please do not try to hack out Medicare and a supplement or Medigap or Medicare Advantage plan all by yourself. Not a good situation. Anyway, they will help you. It's all 100% free. So if you've not done so, make sure to call them. Otherwise, take a picture of the screen, take a screenshot, whatever you've got to do so you have that phone number going forward. As well as, let me ask a favor of you. Who do you know? Just think of 1 or 2 or 3 people that you know, friends, family members, acquaintances, siblings, neighbors, anybody like that. Please share this video with them. Otherwise, that picture you just took or the screenshot, text that over to them as well so they can get help with their Medicare needs. It's confusing. It's massively confusing with all the different options out there, and they're doing all that 100% for free to help you out here in this community, just like I'm trying to do with all these videos as well. Anyway, that's awesome. And again, let's get into it and talk about the details of a $2,000 fourth stimulus check right now, 2025. What are the details behind this? And I do want to point this out because how much is the big question as well. Okay, remember that $2 trillion that I just mentioned a second ago? Yeah, remember that? Okay, here's the deal behind this. Remember back in 2020 and 2021, they sent out 3 stimulus checks, okay? Those reached about 85% of the population, okay? Way too many people. I'm going to be honest with you. That was way too many checks going out to way too many people. Is why we had a lot of supply chain issues, why we also had a lot of inflation that we've been dealing with. That's not the whole purpose behind it, but it contributes to some of the inflation that we've been seeing, and price increases, obviously, across the board on a lot of the essentials that we're doing or that we need to buy, right? But here's the situation. Let's just say the DOGE comes together and scrapes up $1 trillion in a worst case scenario, or even $2 trillion in the best case scenario, okay? Now, I've run the math on this, and I want to point this out for you because with all that money savings, seriously, they could do some really good stuff with it for a lot of people. But think of it this way. How much would it really cost to send out a $2,000 stimulus check for, say, just specifically focused on the lowest income fixed income beneficiaries as well as the low income? Well, let me put this into perspective really quickly. Right now, there's about 40 million people living in poverty in this country. At the same time, there's 72.5 million people receiving benefits from Social Security. Now, do all those people need a stimulus? No, not even close, right? In fact, maybe half of them, maybe half, need a stimulus. But let's just say to be fair here, let's just say it's 50 million people who are low income need that, okay? Now, obviously, there's some overlap between people living in poverty and people that are getting fixed income benefits, but let's just use a very conservative approach here and say 100 million people. It's just shy of 30% of our population here in this country. It's about a little less than a third of the people out there in this country, okay? So let's just use some nice round numbers here. How much would it really cost to send out a $2,000 stimulus check one time for 100 million people? Okay, easy math here would say it's $200 billion. It's not that much money considering how much is Doge scraping together right now with everything that they're doing. Again, worst case scenario, $1 trillion, which by the way, $200 billion of $1 trillion would be 20%, just like introduced in the Doge dividend proposal that we got out a couple weeks ago, right? A 20% profit share or a 20% bounty or dividend giving back to the people. Now, let's just say that they come together and they actually do scrape together $2 trillion of federal savings. Okay, at that point, now how much would that same $2,000 stimulus check for 100 million people actually cost? Well, it'd still be the same $200 billion, but now as a percentage basis of the $2 trillion that Doge has potentially scraped together, now it's only 10%. Do you see that? So of all the money that Doge is going to be coming together and getting, it's really a very small percentage, maybe 10, 15, maybe 20%, depending on best case scenario, medium case scenario, and worst case scenario of, say, 2 trillion, 1.5, even $1 trillion of savings. That's what they could do with that, right? Now, here's the thing as well. Don't get me wrong, the $5,000 Doge dividend proposal that we got out a couple weeks ago, I happen to think is a pretty cool idea. I really, really like that. I support that. But I do think there's some major changes that they could do to it. For number one being, they could expand the parameters as far as who would be eligible for it. As a result of that, to keep the dollar amount that's being distributed in line, they would have to reduce the dollar amount from $5,000 probably down to maybe $4,000, $3,500, maybe $3,000, something like that, maybe even $2,500. That's okay. In my opinion, I guess if it's going out to more people and it's reaching the people that actually need it, that's probably a pretty good thing versus higher for less, if that kind of makes sense, right? So at the end of the day, when you look at these real numbers here, it wouldn't cost that much. I mean, think of it this way. As of right now, Doge has already saved, according to their website and the Doge wallet, right? They've already saved tens of billions of dollars just in the last, call it 6 weeks or so. It's not even that long in so far, and they've already saved all this money according to what they're finding here, right? So the real point is, based on what we're looking at, okay, with everything that's going on right now, with all the massive savings, we got this huge reconciliation bill on our doorstep that they're working on right now, trillions of dollars there, to scrape out, say, 200 billion, whatever, that'd be the absolute highest amount that we're talking about here. And again, it's not even 100 million people that would need this money, right? If we just focused it on the lowest income people, those people living, again, below the federal poverty line, that's an obvious one, right? Otherwise, fixed income beneficiaries who are living on a very small benefit, if we just focused it on those individuals, and again, there's a lot of overlap there, but even, I'm saying 100 million people, honestly, it wouldn't even be 100 million people. It'd probably be more like 50, maybe 70, maybe 80 million people in total, something like this that would actually need it, / that it should go out to, right? And if that's the case, that just means that the overall dollar amount that is being distributed would even be less, okay? So my point is, it would really not cost that much. I mean, as of right now, Doge has almost scraped together enough money to send out basically a $2,000 stimulus for maybe 50 million people. They almost have that much scraped together already, okay? That's my point, is that they're coming together on all this money, and here's the thing. Whose money is it in the first place? It's the taxpayer dollars, right? That's where the federal government gets their money, is from the taxpayer. Who's the taxpayer? It's you, right? It's all of us collectively. We all pay in, and that's how they get their money, okay? And that's exactly what Doge is doing, is trying to scrape back together some of the taxpayer dollars. My point is, this kind of goes hand in hand with the $5,000 Doge dividend plan that we saw a couple weeks ago, as well as just running simple math on these numbers here, just looking at the total population based on how many people actually need something like this. $2,000 for this, highly specified group of people who are low income, fixed income people like this, and then basically just sending that out, basically from Doge savings, wouldn't be that hard to pull off. I mean, seriously, it would not be hard at all to pull off. But that's another thing that I think we need to look at as well, is that a lot of people keep looking at stimulus checks and thinking, oh no, this is going to cause so much inflation. Okay, if done poorly, then yes, it will cause a lot of inflation, like what we saw a few years ago. The problem there was too much money going out to too many people. That was the problem, okay? Now, to be fair, during 2020 to 2021, it was about a 12-month period of time. The federal government, they made new about $6 trillion of fresh new money, okay? When that money was pushed down into the economy, no wonder why we had so much inflation. It was way too much money chasing too few goods and services. And what had to happen is that demand went up. Therefore, supply did not keep pace with it. Prices must rise. It's simple economics, okay? So that's kind of the situation. Now, in this case that I'm talking about here is that we'd be sending out significantly less money because it's going out to less people. It's not necessarily less money per person, but rather it's overall less money. To put it into perspective as well, the stimulus checks that went out a few years ago, in total, between the three of them that went out, cost about $850 billion. In this case that I'm talking about here, if we send out a $2,000 stimulus check just for 100 million people, which honestly I don't even think it'd be 100 million people that would actually need to get this, but if we sent it out to just the highly focused low income and fixed income, $2,000 a piece, okay? This would even cost maybe $200 billion, maybe, if it went to 100 million people. Okay, so the point behind that is that's less than 1/4 of how much went out a few years ago. Okay, is it going to cause a little inflation? Maybe in some isolated areas, but across the entire country, driving up inflation back to 9.1%, like we saw in June of 2022, not happening. It's feasibly not possible, okay? It's not enough money to do that. But I mean, if we printed, say, $6 trillion again, then for sure, we would see massive hyperinflation. It would be a bad situation. But that's not nearly the case here. And in this situation, they're not printing fresh money. They're literally taking money out of savings of, federal agencies that they're cutting, federal workers. Again, not saying it's a good thing, and not saying that I totally agree with it. I'm just simply saying this is the situation, okay? They're going to do it. I have no authority over what they're doing and, their plans, anything like that. I'm simply saying, whether I agree or disagree, I'm just simply saying they're doing it, okay? They're doing it, and we know about it, and they're scraping up billions of dollars here. So they could reallocate that money where? Into your pocket, into your bank account, into the people's pockets that actually need it, and again, reimbursing the people that actually paid in and the people that actually need this money. So it's like a win-win overall for everybody wins on this. And then where does that money go? Right back into the economy by buying goods and services, stimulating the overall economy. So anyway, I find it to be super fascinating. And again, let's just see here what happens over the coming days, weeks, and months here. I think it's a very interesting time that we're living through. We haven't really experienced anything like Doge before, and it's going to be super interesting to see what happens this year. All I know is that we're going to see some massive, massive things happening, and it's going to be a very interesting fireworks display at some point. There's just no way that all this is going to continue without some major ramifications. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Either way, I'll continue to be here for you to keep you posted with everything going on. And again, if you've not called the guys over there at Chapter yet, make sure to call them. That is your exclusive phone number. They're waiting for you right there on the screen. They're waiting for you. When you call them, you'll be connected with someone, an absolute professional. They will go to work on your behalf. They will listen to what you need. They'll listen to your personal preferences, find you the best plan with the best coverages, for your personal preferences, and they'll do all that 100% for free. It's incredible. Again, join the hundreds of people here in this community that have already called them and done this. I've seen some amazing comments coming in, people saving all kinds of money, getting better coverages. It's awesome to see that. And again, it's all free. Seems like a pretty fair deal to me, right? I don't know. Anyway, give them a call. Take a picture of the screen, take a screenshot, whatever you got to do. And again, please share this. Think of just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that you know. Again, friends, family members, acquaintances, siblings, anybody like that that needs this information. Number one, share the video. There's a big share button right down below. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Otherwise, feel free to share that text message or the screenshot, the picture that you just took. And again, have them call out for their help with their Medicare needs, things like that. Again, 100% for free, all of you here in the community. Otherwise, please subscribe to the channel as well. 100% free to do so. Big subscribe button down below. And check out the other thousands of videos here on the channel in the video library down below in the description. There's some popular videos I've hand selected for you there. Check those out. Otherwise, popping up on your screen now, you'll see some videos there. Otherwise, just have a nice day. Thank you so much for allowing me to advocate and represent for you. Thank you once again for your continued trust in me, the videos, the content, everything I'm delivering to you every single day. I really appreciate it. And just have a good one. That's all that matters right now. I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Please have a nice day. And I really look forward to seeing you again soon in the next video.